All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to ask some questions. I mean, this is an elite panel, right? So there's always a different spin on it. So like, some things that Mike's doing in his business will resonate with you. Some things that I'm doing in my business will resonate with you. And then, it's the whole challenge is, okay, well, where are you, right now? So we haven't been maybe where you're at right now in a while. And some of these folks up here have been. So the real interesting thing is, okay, what's the big difference between, most of our elites that have taken this 50% growth in 1 year's time frame, right? That's ridiculous growth, right? Does everybody agree that that's pretty insane? That doesn't happen right now, right? It's pretty incredible to see. So, what are the things and what are the connections that can be made from this point to where you can have these types of gains in your business and some of the things that are really different that are out there and the real cutting edge. And this is a very cutting edge group that we're talking about here. So when we talk about elite, elite coaching, what it comes down to is this. There's a series of calls that happen, and one of the things that's really valuable is the 3 calls we have every week. One of them is seller training, buyer training, and role playing. And part of the value in that is when you start growing your team, all of a sudden you become the trainer. Is anybody in that place right now? Right? So when you become the trainer, it takes you away from dollar productive activities, and now all of a sudden it's not productive as you're growing your team, and now you're not making more money, you're making less money. So so there's a lot of value that comes into the elite program. We'll talk a little bit about it here towards the end, but this is a very elite panel. We're going to go into some of the step-by-step things that we're doing, and then see if we can stump these guys with some good questions. Y'all ready to get started? Let's start with you, Lars. Talk a little bit about your production in the last few years and kind of your growth curve and how you got there.
Okay. I started in probably full-time March 2007. Came out of a corporate job and sold 27 homes my first year. Just me alone. I hired my first assistant early 2008, sold 40 homes that year, and then end of 2009, I hired my first buyer's agent, sold, I think, what did we sell? I think 50 or so personally, and he sold like 5. And so that was last year. And then hired 6 agents this year. And I'll probably sell 60 homes this year. And hopefully they'll sell probably about 70 or so between all of them, coming on different points in the year. And next year the target's probably 220 to 240.
That's incredible. Okay, so this year will be about approximately what, 100?
125, 130.
125. So
yeah.
That's a massive gain right there, from 50 to 125. What are some things that you executed since the last conference, from there to here, that has made you able to accomplish that?
The biggest thing for me was I remember distinctly getting on my first call with even you guys. I said, right now it was like 42 buyers or so last year. And, I've got 2 young kids and a wife, and trying to wear all those different hats and working with buyers was just not going to make anyone happy, including myself. And so that was the biggest thing, was just shifting to the listing side of the business and doing it quickly. And we set like a 6-month, goal for just being all listings, and then leveraging all the leads. So now I have listings, so I have the yard marketing, the internet marketing for the, so there's more buyer leads. So just bringing total leverage with buyer's agents, and then having Wally train those agents, so it's not like I'm spending time, really training the agents. So it's just leverage. Yeah,
completely leveraged.
Yep.
Yeah. The side note to that is the backwards way to do that is to hit like 300 transactions and then go back, try to fix the mess, right? So if you're able to optimize while you're going, and he's talking about the yard signs, not just doing going out and spending money, but executing everything you can as good as you can before you move to the next step. Now, the first year you said you were doing how many buyer deals? It was mostly buyer deals, right?
My first year was only like 2 or 3 listings in 2007.
So you see the switch, right? Now money, buyers are now money, and then the switch over to the listing side of the business, and well executed, if I must say so myself.
And a lot of it just was not having to figure out what the best flyer was, what the best technology, just taking blind faith and just, you guys say it, just being coachable.
Awesome, cool, great job. Clancy, were you going to share your new USP with us? Probably not.
No, if anybody wants to copy the business card, see me after.
Classic. So same thing.
I came from a banking job as a real estate appraiser. Got laid off with a corporate merger. It was about 3 years ago. I really got serious about my business. I think I did 30 transactions out of my house. Last year I did 47 on my own, hired an assistant. I had an assistant about 6 months there. This year we'll do about 100 transactions. And I remember my first coaching call I did with Jay and Mike. I said, you know, I'll do whatever you guys want me to do to be successful, but I'm not going to open an office. And in January of last year, I opened an office. It was really the best thing I ever did. With the 2 buyers agents, you know, it's basically doubled our volume and just brought us to a whole different level. So it raised us, put us on the radar, I think, locally. So
this year will be about how much in business, you think?
We're going to do about 100 transactions.
About 100? So, and then what are you projecting, you think, next year? What's kind of the goal?
We're going to do 150. You know, I think what was holding me back, and I didn't even realize it until, you know, I sat down with Wally, I was generating more leads than we could handle. I mean, we just weren't following up on them until I had buyer's agents on there, you know, killing it and returning the calls. That's when my business really turned around. And I think the other thing Wally made me realize was I didn't have a business when I was out of my house. I had a job. If I wasn't there, the money wasn't coming in. And I've told you guys a lot. The revelation came to me when I went to Italy with my wife in April, and I came back after 10 days. My agents killed it. I had 10 deals under contract, and I made more in that week than I was making in my banking job in a year. So that really changed me and my mindset, just to automate things and get the agents working.
And these are giant leaps in your business. Are you seeing that the jump from 50 to 100 and those big jumps, and then the next leap after that seem to be a lot more clear and a lot easier to execute? Or what are your thoughts on that so far?
I think what Mike was saying earlier. The first 10 million is the hardest. I think going from 10 to 16 was pretty easy. I worked less to make that kind of money, to bring that kind of revenue in. So it's exactly right. Once you get the systems down and get the, what we're doing, the sign writer, the same thing as Lars doing, just implementing and making things happen.
Good deal. Awesome job. Well done. Judy?
I started real estate in 1993. I worked as a design computer networks for Blue Cross. And they were sort of making some changes, making us, move out of state. So I decided, I sat down, I looked, and I said, okay, where can I go and work and make as much money as I want, as hard as I work, and with as little education right up front? And real estate was it. So started working part-time and worked for Coldwell Banker for a few years, RE/MAX. And then went back to Coldwell Banker, and now I'm with Keller Williams. The biggest thing that really I had to look at, I mean, I was ready to quit real estate 2 years ago. I just, I didn't know what to do. I had a lot of business, but I didn't have the systems in place. And I just decided, okay, go with Reese, and Cliff was my coach. We put in some systems. We put in an expired listing system, a buyer system. I put a system in for accountability for my folks, making them accountable, and I quit doing their job. And we put the Big Five, morning huddle, things like that. I'm working with 2 assistants. One's 20 and one's 21. No real estate experience, and they're doing very well. But the biggest thing that made the change is I put in a raving fan club, and I started going back and touching my past clients. I had twice a year I was doing a bowling thing for the clients, renting out a whole bowling area. I could have done the movie thing, but I wanted to interact with these people. I wanted to touch them. I wanted to hug them. And we did that, and then we had a wine tasting thing for my other customers. And as a result of that, I had about 3 or 4 customers call me, and they all bought over $800,000. And it's just amazing. I mean, that's what I was missing. So it was putting in the systems. It was, for the low-hanging fruit that you're going to make money. I mean, when you do this, it's overwhelming. And I know a lot of people are out there. I've talked to some folks, and you go on the website, and it's overwhelming. There's so much information out there. But you have to pick those that you're good at and get those running and get those started making money, and then slowly implementing things. But you have sellers, you have buyers, you have past clients. You can't miss those. And then you have to make people accountable for their job. And that was my biggest change.
Yeah. Great. That's great advice. Great advice.
All right. I've been in real estate for about 3.5 years. In my first year, I closed 42 deals. Second full year, we closed about 101 deals. So far this year, I've closed 166 deals already, and we're on pace to break 200 through the end of the year. And next year, our goal is about 350 to 400. I have a team of 12 that we grew rapidly. One of the biggest things that we'll get into a little bit is that's really helped our business. You got to look at it. I mean, I know agents that are doing $2 million in GCI, $3 million in GCI, and they're not making any net income. They're a passing system. So I focused this year, through the help of some people on the stage, of really focusing on how I could be the most productive net income wise, because that's ultimately what matters. And so we revolutionized our business about 6 months ago. And to make it short for now is we started taking every single listing in the office. We charge higher than standard commission out there. I charge anywhere between $1,488 to $5,298 upfront, non-refundable every time I take a listing. Last month I took almost $19,700 in non-refundable upfront fees. We also charge a $544 transaction compliance fee at every closing for buyers and sellers. We're charging upfront fees for buyers as well too, and a higher co-broke paid at time of closing for it. And it's really, right now we're averaging about 4.3 or 4.4% per transaction side paid at time of closing. And that goes right to your bottom line. There's nothing more productive that you can take away, that you can literally implement into your system that's going to give you more return on your investment right there.
Does everybody's mind just get blown? Yeah, and you know, Kurt.
Before you do your business, because that's important. It's not like
Yeah, no, and we have I'm in a small market. I have about 60,000 people in our local area, about 154,000 we can actually service. But right now the thing is, Curtis is the guy, Curtis Johnson, who I've learned all this stuff from, and he's been a mentor for me. He's helped me out tremendously, and it's a mindset shift. Everyone out there, I said it to myself, this isn't going to work for my market. Sellers aren't going to come to the office. I was just on a webinar a couple hours ago doing it for a couple hundred people that were there, and the questions they had were just like, how do I get, where people get in the way of, it's themselves. It's you guys get in your own way before anything else. So you got to allow yourself to open your mind up, knowing that you can get people in the office. You can charge upfront fees if you are providing a different value. The only time money becomes an issue is when there's an absence of value. If there's absolutely no absence of value when you're going through the presentation, money's never going to be a factor no matter how much you're going to charge. Part of it all starts with the original process for what you do. I mean, we have a system in place for everything. At the start of the initial call, it comes in, goes to 2 of the listing coordinators that come in. And as soon as the listing coordinators works through the exact same sheet that Jay had up there in a particular order, very similar to Jay, asking those exact same questions. They come into the office. Before they do, they get a video message from me through ComF5, which hopefully we'll have some time to talk about as well too, because it's the next email if you're not using it. And they get a personalized message from me. They get to the office. One of the listing coordinators meets them out there, introduces herself, puts them down in a comfortable situation, and at that point in time, we're going to be putting a video on of us doing the entire listing presentation, making this so I don't have to be anywhere in the entire listing process and automated. I never go out and look at the home. I spend about 45 minutes to an hour right now. Curtis will tell you it's all video for him, which is where I'm getting it from, and he doesn't even spend time with the client. And it's just really everything's automated. We have a stager go out to the home, professional photographer, professional virtual tour companies, and they just take right off, and our listing coordinator handles everything from there. So it really maximizes. About 7 months ago, I was walking through a home, and it was the 4th listing presentation I was going on, and if I had to listen to one more seller tell me about their heavy-duty nails and how they repainted the house and how their home was worth $50,000 more, I was going to quit real estate. So I needed to figure out a way that I could alleviate that, and I was trying to look for a solution, and I found it from people that were more intelligent than I was, and just implement it into your business.
What state are you in?
Vermont.
The state of denial. Yeah. There is no barriers around this business, I can assure you. So that's a massive implementer right there. Now, we'll get more into Comment 5 because I think that is bad to the bone. But now, one of the things that's happened, for me, especially in coming to conferences and being a part of this kind of stuff all the time for my whole career has been, once your mind gets stretched out to here, it ain't ever going to go back, just so you know. Once you start hearing ideas like this, it's like you'll dance around with them for a while, maybe, if some of you maybe longer than others, but then all of a sudden one day it's going to hit. Now, I can't remember exactly what the quote is, but do you guys all believe that we're professionals in this room? Yeah. Right? So is there a lot of people that aren't professionals in this business? Yeah. And I think it's Dan Kennedy's quote actually is that amateurs get paid at the end of the work and professionals get paid in the beginning. So where do we fall as an industry, right? And the mindset of, okay, we're going to charge an upfront fee is, oh no, yeah, that's not going to work, right? Nobody's ever going to do that. Well, I can tell you right now, the two best that I've ever seen, in the world at this is Curtis Johnson and Adam Hergenrother. They're both doing it, crushing it. And I'm talking collecting big checks up front, and they're earning it only because they believe in it. Now that's all it is a change in your mindset. I definitely agree with that. So I really appreciate you guys being up here and sharing this stuff with us. So Jeff Smith. Tell us where you've been, where you're at, where you're going.
I am, where am I going? Where am I at?
Well, let's start.
Hello.
20 years, you've been in 20 years, right? So 20 years in the business,
yeah,
right?
I guess I'm the slow learner up here. I've been doing this, been doing it now 22 years. This will be the first year that we tip past 100 sales. We worked as an individual agent with a family's company for about the first 10 years of my career. Was introduced, I guess it was back in 1998, with another national sales trainer, on the concept of teams, and this is before teams were even around. You either had a boutique company or you worked for Remax or one of the big ones. And so we left the family's company to be my own boss and create a team, and I think we battled that, or you really start doing different things coming outside of just showing houses and being an individual agent. You have to start learning business concepts and principles, and it's a whole new game. And it's a game worth playing, and it's fun, but it's also got its struggles to get there to become an expert at this. And that's what I love so much about this training here. Jay and Mike could go this entire 3 days without saying anything about a house or how to have somebody pick green carpet versus blue carpet. It's all about business principles and leadership principles and how to create leaders within your team and become a success through the success of others. And that's really where I think our growth this year has been is having a team that is had a little bit of longevity now. We've increased, anyway, where am I going here? Last year, I've been with you guys for a couple of years now.
Yep.
And just over a year ago, it was myself and one assistant and one buyer agent. And we're doing about 50 transactions, I think, last year, and we're going to, again, tip over 100 this year. We've increased our size of staff by 2 more, so there's three admin people. We've just recently brought on a business development partner. It's going to help us get some projects off the ground. We have 4 buyer agents currently. We're hoping to hire 2 more on by the end of the year. And the fun thing about this, and I'm sure hoping this is right, it took me 22 years to get to 100, and we say it's easier to get from 100 to 200. So. And Lars last night at, what was it, Sambuca. I've been feeling Sambuca all day here. Lars said yesterday, last night at the bar, I think, and I said, okay, I'm working on the goals, and what's my goal going to be next year? Is it going to be 150? Is it going to be 160? And he goes, yeah, I think you could do 140. And I go, what's yours? And he said, 240. And I looked at it and I said, okay, game on. So, but I don't know what else.
That's
questions
great. That's the answer I'm looking for. So, that's a huge shift. So, for all these years in the business in the 50 range, what finally changed? What was the defining moment? What was it that you did or that you executed or felt that made the difference for going to 50 to 100? What was it that got you past that barrier? Or what was the barrier itself even?
I think it was having a team that would stick around with me. and maybe some of the leadership skills and so forth that we've put into play to just grow them into leaders. They've stuck with me now for a little over a year. Everybody's been out there a little over a year, and staff. I've had staff now, admin people, or my main admin person's been there about 5 or 6 years now, and it's hard to create growth when your main admin person leaves every year. One reason or another, whether it was me or life changes or whatever. But so I think just longevity, having that team there, and then just working on creating that successful environment within, and coaching them and training them.
Would you say culture maybe has been executed a little better? Maybe is that
absolutely
part of it?
Culture? Yeah. And then also getting across fear to go do it again. I remember sitting in, I think it was at an event in Denver with you a year and a half ago or whenever, and was just real fearful about hiring my next buyer agent on, and wondering if I had enough leads for him, and sat down with Jay for a few minutes, and he just took me through this little plan on, you're not hiring one, you're going to go back and hire 3. Okay. And so what I have learned to do is I've quit trying to recreate everything myself, and quit trying to take what I learned from others and tweak it. If it's already working, if it's not broken, just put it into play. Trust them, and I've just learned to say, really rely on these guys, and ask them how high they want me to jump, and I try to jump just a little bit higher. And I think Wally, with his training, been just huge with the team, having ongoing training with your team that is the best of the best out there. I mean, I don't know another sales trainer that's better than Wally, and I've studied them all for 22 years. So to have that kind of presence just about every day with your team, at least 3 days a week, that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
That's the distinction.
Well, we've changed up a lot of marketing too. Wally, through we used to do farm marketing as 10,000 pieces a month, and as we saw the market starting to come down a little bit, the profit margin wasn't there, and Wally kind of nixed it out of the program, and we're really just squeezing everything that we can out of what we're doing already. I mean, just signage and brochures. There's so much you could do with a hotline system and the brochures and the signage that you got to really, unless you're thinking about it, you got to squeeze all of that before you go chasing the squirrel. Mm-hmm. And I was taught by a trainer that said, you spend every dollar you got plus another 25%. And so I've had years that I was so far in the hole, and in fact, a year and a half ago I was so far in the hole, and now it's finally it's nice coming into the new year with kind of renewed energy.
Money in the bank. That's what I'm talking about. Get me paid. Has anybody ever seen Kenny Powers? Just show of hands. I'm going to leave it at that.
Cool. I'm
Cujo.
I'm Curtis Johnson out of Arizona. I first met, I first talked to Jay, probably 7-8 years ago. And, I think I was selling 70, 80 houses a year. Really started following, obviously, in earnest, 5 years ago or so when they started Kinder Reese, and been following all their stuff, as much as I can, and trying to implement as fast as you guys do, and trying to really copy and trying to model and push my brain and do some things like that. Right now, I think last year, we had the top 50 in the Wall Street Journal in America, 339 sides. So not quite to Jay, but do some pretty cool things. Year before, it was 297.
Give him a hand. Give him a hand. He's being a little modest. Let me tell you.
Well, the cool thing about it, probably what I'm known for most, is I might be one of the laziest real estate agents you've ever met, in that I try and automate everything I can possibly do. And the cool thing about it was, so like a year ago, I did, I think, $53 million in volume, let me back up a little bit. So August 2005, all of a sudden a spigot got shut off in Phoenix. And all of a sudden real estate wasn't fun anymore because everything just started dropping. It went from about 330,000. So we had about 5 years of every month over month after month for over 5 years of the prices going down, and it was just grief counseling. It was devastating, right? So a lot of markets have seen that. Some are starting to go through it, but it's obviously it's just devastated our whole market. So what I realized was, we got a big problem here. And, you know, you can't cut costs fast enough in a market like that. There's nothing you can do to make up for it, because it's like chasing a bowling ball down a hill. You just can't do it. You can't catch up with it until you get on the other side of it. So I started going through and realizing this is not going to end anytime soon. So, you know, everybody kept saying, hey, I'm going to wait till next quarter. It's going to be better. I'm like, good luck. You know, it just is not going to happen. If you've ever read Good to Great, the Stockdale Paradox or whatever, ain't going to happen. The people that thought it was going to get better died. You've got to realize, well, that's what happened, right? You've got to realize you got to change. You got to do something different. So we started looking at everything saying, well, why do we only essentially work for tips? I don't get it. We're like waiters. We serve up this great deal, and all we get is this little tip at the end. That doesn't make any sense to me. You talked about the best people get paid at the beginning as opposed to the end. Think about the richest people you know are actors, authors, sports people, and what do? They sign these monster contracts for things they're going to do years into the future. Who are the people that are the poorest? Are the people that, you know, maybe work at fast food or something like that. They work for weeks, and then they finally get this little paycheck after they've already done everything. So I started thinking, you know, Jay talks about the sales cycle and things you've got to do to get ahead of that curve. So that's really what it focused on. Okay, what are all the tactics and the things that need to happen? What are the strategies and processes that would have to happen to, you know, essentially sell, you know, half the houses to get paid twice as much? Because I'm like, that's what I want to do. And I don't really want to go after luxury market because they don't ever sell. So I want to be able to sell more houses and make more money, or sell less houses and make more money. And so that's a strategy. So I think we did $53 million in volume, but the GCI was $2,990,000. So do the math on that, right? It's changing your mindset, right? Because everyone says, okay, well, you know, look at 50 million in volume, that's, you know, 1.5 million in GCI. Well, maybe, or maybe less. You know, a lot of our markets, REOs and distressed properties. So actually, some of them we get, you know, 2% or stuff like that. So you really just got to push yourself to think, what are the ways to go about doing that? And the cool thing about it is in real estate, we are so messed up that all the other industries have already figured it out, and we are dinosaurs. We are like the last ones to figure everything out, and all the answers are already out there. You just got to find people like Jay and Mike and stuff that have already found the answers and just implement it. So we just put strategies in place to be able to do that. And you know, we've been getting for the last, you know, 2 years anywhere between, you know, 30 in a bad month to $70,000 that, you know, we start the month out with. That's just where we start with, and we kind of go from there, and it kind of really changes the game, right? Gives you a competitive advantage that other people just don't have. So it's not for everybody. The strategies, you know, it's a little bit different. You have to think kind of different, but it's kind of interesting. Like I said, even on my listing presentations, people come into our office and watch a video and then cut us a check. So it's a little bit different. But I kind of like it because I don't have to be there.
Yeah. Now, Curtis is, you know, we have a lot, you know, really a lot of us all have, you know, spirited discussions, and I learn as much from you guys. Yeah. I mean, seriously, as much from all of you that, you know, whenever we're in these, you know, discussions and you pick up things, and I mean, this is just one of those that I haven't even truly executed. I've tested it a little bit, and it certainly, it can be done easily. I'm just not. We
were talking yesterday. I know you told me to see if I could put something together, so I got something at the end if you want me to do it. So yeah. Curtis don't let me forget.
Curtis is like he wants to be able to, like, okay, how do you push a button and put $1 million in my bank account? That's how he's thinking, like, every day. So it's like, okay, I just want to push a button and $1 million shows up. How can we do that? And then we work from there. That's how the conversation usually starts, basically. So it's definitely amazing, and definitely changes the game. That's for sure.
Cool. All right, my name's Blake Sloan from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and just long story short, kind of got in the business about November, December 2004, and I actually got with my mom, who had been in the business for like 25, 30 years, and so, you know, went to school, did the thing, and first day I was like, you know, so what do we do? She's like, oh, I don't know, just send some postcards or something, and I'm like, are you serious? And, you know, so, and that is no lie, I mean, that's really what she did, and like, it was like a picture of her, and it was crazy, so I was like, there's got to be a better way. I was just really hungry, you know, trying to find anything I could, and searched and found a few coaching things that I could resonate with, and just, you know, I figured, all right, well, I might as well I read a book somewhere, I don't know what it was, just find what other people do that are good and just copy it. So found some coaching stuff, and it really helped implement some of those things, and actually was able to buy her out and actually start my own team within about a year. We're Remax at that time, and one thing that really kind of helped was it was hard for me to grow because I couldn't really bring somebody else on because it would be like $800 a month. And so the big thing that really helped a lot of the change was being able to get myself into an atmosphere where I could grow, and that's something that we did. And basically that was in, I think, April of '08. And I just went to I found a small independent because I wasn't in the business long enough to have a broker's license yet. So found a small independent, negotiated 100% split with them, and just said, hey, look, give me 100%, I'll pay you a monthly fee plus a transaction fee. So that kind of enabled me to be able to recruit people for a team to do so. So I did that, I got a couple people, and that was in, I think, April '08. And it was still kind of difficult dealing with that. So about August '08, and in the whole year of '08, we did, I think, about 43 transactions. I just got the people basically in June or July. And then September '08, started my own company, so it was a little bit simpler that way. And then actually was in another coaching program, knew Jay for a while before, and started with Reese in January '09, and did basically, kind of just did everything they said. I had all these tricks and all these tools and all this cool stuff that, I had, but I didn't really know what to do with it because there's just so many pieces to put in. So Jay, Mike, Wally, basically I filled out that entire form and, dissected my entire business, and it was even painful for me to do that, and dissected it. So I had a plan. So we, hey, we're going to do this. We were on the phone for like 2 hours, and I had a kind of plan to where to start, what to do, and kind of did that, and it was really, really helpful. So because I'm like the worst for being a squirrel. I mean, I'll chase the cool, shiny stuff all day long because it looks cool and it's fun. So we did that, started out, and then basically that entire year things started growing because I had an atmosphere, so now I could bring out anybody I wanted anytime. And I made the mistake a little bit though of just bringing out everybody, which kind of slowed you down. But long story short, numbers, I think in '08, I'm not sure, last year '09 we did like 158 transactions, something like that, and huge growth. And then the systems were horrible because we had so much growth it was hard to keep up. So I really just kind of dialed into Jay, Mike, and them, and just really was really, and Wally too, was just kind of submissive, say, hey, what do I need to do? What do we need to fix this? And kind of had to put the systems in place to be able to handle that stuff because we had the marketing, had the leads and things like that, but really wanted to stay diverse as well. So long story short, this year we had a lot of growth, doubled it to, as of October 31st, we closed 301 transactions. We have over enough pending right now for it to be 350 plus, probably around 360 for the year. So that's kind of what we're looking at for the end of this year. We're still pretty balanced with that. But the biggest thing is you have so much more, transactions, which means you have double the problem. So that was one of the big things is to be able to grow myself personally, so I could be able to handle those issues. And I'd be calling Jay and Wally and everybody, Mike, and they kind of helped me a lot through it. And was be able to read the books and do the things that can help you organize and get the systems. And I caught myself multiple times getting stuck and just, I'll do it this one time. I'm just gonna do this one time and do this, over and over and over again. So finally had to make myself, because my mind doesn't work that way, to slow down to speed up. And it was so hard for me to do that. So I would just force myself just to slow down. I'd see Jay do it all the time because I have 100 things I was trying to do, and then I'll talk to Jay and he was doing one certain thing that one day, and then they do another thing the next day, and they implement this one little piece, and I'll talk to him 2 weeks later, he's implemented 5 things, I'm still working on all 25 of mine, and I'm not doing anything, So that was one big thing that was really helpful, that really helped me with them, and so we just implemented piece by piece and still kept balance, but the whole thing was being able to continually slow down. And now we were talking recently to be able to, there's so many things that we haven't optimized yet that we're just kind of just wasting out there that, it's almost funny, it's almost sickening, but it's still fun to keep having the growth. There's, tons and tons of work in it, 10, 11, 12-hour days, but it's getting to a point where it's really, really fun. Now it's a point where I want to be able to bring lifestyle in with that, because, obviously the money stuff is fun and ridiculous, but the good thing is the passion, be able to build it and see it grow, and then be able to add that in the system so that you have lifestyle, and then it's so nice just to have people that just show up and just bring checks, and and they're very thankful they have the systems and everything's there to operate in that way. So it's been fun and it's still continuing to grow very, very fast.
Blake, how old are you?
27.
27. Not too shabby, my friend.
Thank you.
You got 99 problems, but money's not one. Okay, let's. I want to kind of recap a couple things I thought were pretty valuable on that. So, going back to J. Abraham principles, there's only 3 ways to grow your business, right? And we all, we know you can either, do more new business, right? More deals. You can increase your transaction size, which I want to talk about with Adam, or you can get them to buy more often. So when you look at retail and who was it that quoted Good to Great? Was it you, Curtis? Yeah, great book. I mean, again, industry change, comparing companies that went from good to great and what were the big differences between the two and why did one make the leap and one not make the leap. It was a huge study. It was a great book by Jim Collins. If you haven't read that one, you need to read it. But there was, there's some things that really apply in other industries that don't generally, they just don't apply in real estate, is the way we've always looked at it in the past. And because the market has changed so dramatically for all of us, I mean, there's nobody in the room that's doing exactly the same thing 3 or 4 years ago and it's working, is there? I mean, unless I'm missing something. There's some things, obviously, the basic principles, but we've all had to really adapt quickly, and that's where this upfront fee came from, really, honestly. I mean, from a cash flow standpoint, I know this may be a sore spot, but I have to point it out, Curtis, because you used to make fun of me for my marketplace. What was the average sale price before?
It was about $330.
Yeah, and what is it now again? I can't remember.
Well, it's $128, maybe $130. I mean, yeah, but we don't have little skirts on our houses either.
No NASCAR skirting.
No, we don't do real estate, Jay.
Hey, that's a profit center, baby. That's a profit center. Yeah. Sponsored by.
Yeah.
That's funny. That is just funny. All right, Mobile Home Depot. So obviously, I mean that's a major challenge. So you've got you're basically your transaction dollar, same amount of work goes down 2/3.
Right.
How do you deal with that? How do you make that adapt?
You got to get new revenue streams. Like I said, even when we did that, it was our average sale price was like $160 or whatever. So we made more when our price point was $160 than we did at $330. So you got to just go at a different strategy. There's different ways, and you have to, just like the same thing Jay talks about, you got to look at it and say, okay, well, is this a fixed price, to sell a house? And one of the biggest ahas I had was working with agents and kind of going through and say, okay, well, here's what you made before. If you want to do that, now you got to sell 2 or 3 times as many houses, and their eyes would glaze over and say, I ain't going to do it. And it would really, that's how it was. It was, I don't want to deal with that many people. If I sold 20 houses before, now I got to sell 50. I don't want to stay in real estate. And so that's where I went, oh crap, either I'm going to have 50 agents to make money I want to make, or I got to find out some new strategies. And I bet we've all had that same thought, right? But if there's a way to be able to sell the same amount of houses and make twice as much, what is that way? That's what I want to figure out.
Ask yourself better questions, you find better answers.
Right.
That's the bottom line. Yeah, so that's definitely, okay, so more per transaction is what we're talking about. Historically, never really occurred to us that you could make more per transaction, right? What are you going to charge a higher fee, or it just wasn't really something that you felt like it was really an option. At least it wasn't for me. So more business, that's easy. We talked about all kinds. You should have all kinds of notes on how to go get more business. Getting people to buy more often, a little bit more challenging, but because we don't do the referral systems and things of that nature, we're probably not optimizing it, right? So that's a way to get people to buy more often. You can try to move into an investment phase and selling people a second home and investment properties and stuff like that. Still nothing that's really going to bring a bunch of cash in overnight. And then there's the more per transaction, which is what I want to hit on, because there's several things from a multiple approach that that several of you guys and gals have done that is very valuable, I think. So Adam, you talked about your average transaction, the average dollar coming in per transaction, 4% by the way?
Somewhere around 4.3, 4.4. I mean, we had a closing today that I saw a commission settlement statement from. We had a $14.88 upfront fee. We had 4% on the selling side, and we had a $544 transaction compliance fee. It was like 4.5% on the transaction side. So I mean, it was a $260,000 home. Instead of walking away with $7,200, I think we walked away with $13,500 from the transaction. And it's amazing when you start wrapping your head around this stuff, what you can do with that additional money. I mean, and if you're going to be an ordinary realtor, if you want to be ordinary, you're going to charge ordinary fees, and that's fine. There's a lot of models that have come out in the past couple of years of discounted brokerages trying to discount things. There's always going to be a market for value-added services. I mean, why do people go into Starbucks and pay $5 for a coffee versus going into McDonald's and paying 79 cents? They go into Starbucks for the experience that they're getting. And that's what we try to do, is we create the ultimate experience for the client. From the time they call in till the time that they close, we're completely different. And throughout the entire value proposition of what you're doing, we have to be different. And I tell them that we're different so that when we get to our fees, they know our fees are different too. I mean, there's from the beginning, I mean, when they call in, you go through that entire sheet, we send them a ComF5 video, a personalized message. Hi, this is Adam Hergenrother, Hergenrother team, Keller Williams Realty. Hope you're doing well today. I understand you're coming in tomorrow at 3 o'clock for a private marketing consultation. You probably have a lot of questions about the programs we have to offer. One of the things that we're going to be discussing is our internet marketing program and how we can create premium placement to attract hundreds of buyers to take a look at your home every single day. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. That's a personal message that goes out to them. You're competing against another agent and you got a video message from somebody, who do you think they're going to listen? I mean, we get responses back before they even get in here. Where do I sign? Just send me over the paperwork. And
what is the URL? I want to see if we can get this loaded up to look at it here in a second.
Videoagentf5.com.
Videoagentf5.com?
Yeah.
Is Megan back there? Can somebody grab Megan and see if we can get Video Agent F5 just pulled up here in a second? I want everybody to see this because it's bad. That's what it is.
I mean, and this is really changing the way we're doing our business. We have AdamHergenrother.tv. You know, one of the masterminds that I was at with Jay not too long ago. I got a lot of the radio stuff from Jay, and he's helped me out a lot with that. And we just took it and put the AdamHergenrother.tv in there. And I noticed Jay clicks on there every time. It's funny. I'm in my radio show talking live, and I get a text message from him during the show.
To disrupt him.
Yeah, that's right. And
overachiever.
The thing is with it, I mean, they can watch you live. And so what happens is everybody goes to a focus page or a squeeze page when they sign into it. As soon as that happens, that goes directly to our inside sales. So our inside sales picks up the phone in a matter of 30 seconds, is making a phone call to that prospective client within a matter of 30 seconds. And we're just capturing people and being very aggressive in every lead that comes in. And then on top of that, we're doing a lot of buyer seminars. I own my office as well too. Earlier this year, I switched over from Remax to open up a Keller Williams office up there. So it's a great recruiting tool. The other things that you can do with it is if you pull it up, you'll see a lot of examples. Actually, I think Jay's on there too as a testimonial for one of them. But I mean, ComF5 is definitely the way everything is going. You can sign up right through that website, and it's a
cheap tool.
It's a cheap tool. It's like $100, and it really per month. But it's going to return your dollars on your investment are going to go through the roof when you start using this. I mean, and here's another thing that we use that's very powerful for it is let's just say. Yeah, I mean, I have Zopium on there. You can see the different things, and there's like a live event that we did today, actually, that's down there. Buddy Blake has some stuff on there. You know, so that was one thing we did, do a live broadcast. If you go all the way up to the top, you can do that. But one of the things that we do that's powerful is, let's just say you're the seller, you get an offer from a perspective from a buyer's agent and it's really low and you know the hot property is priced aggressively, I'll send a video message outlining exactly the reason why I think this is a substantial price and where we priced it from, and then I'll ask that agent to forward this video to their client, and that's a very good way of getting them, because a lot of agents don't know what they're doing, and so it just helps out, and it's amazing how many times we can do it. The other thing, I'll do a video message too to a client and letting them know about the market, and if they're out of state, instead of sending them an email, I'll push slides that are going on there. I mean, you can do new open house subdivisions for it. I mean, it's really just the way everything's changing.
So if you have a builder that you're working with, or let's say you want to go after a builder and you build out just a little custom page, the templates are like what, $75 or cheaper if you hire someone or outsource someone to do it or whatever. And you build out a video message around their neighborhood or around their development. How powerful is that going in trying to get that business, right? And builder business is huge. It's still a big part of our business, but that's a powerful way and to differentiate yourself when someone comes through the model home. Sending them video emails afterwards, or maybe it's just an open house or whatever the case may be. Home search, you get them back into your funnels this way. Definitely something no one else is doing. That's for sure.
Another cool thing you can do with it too is we've actually created code. It's very easy when somebody's posting all our Craigslist listings. We have a code in there, so anytime somebody looks at it, it's a 6-second commercial of me before they actually see the property. So every time somebody clicks on that, whether or not they go forward information, they see a 6-second commercial of ours as well too. So it's just promoting yourself out there every way you can.
Very cool. So I'm curious, what can you do with the extra like $5,000 to $7,000 per transaction? You fill us in. What can you do with that?
I mean, we hired a professional stager. I mean, Jay, you actually the one that got me onto getting a stager, and once we started getting additional fees, we hired somebody, and they really do. They sell 50% faster and 17% for more money on average. And so when they go in there, the client just feels taken care of. The experience you're providing them is much different than anybody else, especially if you're taking an expired listing. They've been touched 4 or 5 times before they see you, and I say this humbly, but I mean, they really, once they get in with you, it's like you're a movie star in the room for them. Whether you're putting a video on or you're doing it yourself, then you go over pricing, and then you lock up the agreement, and then you don't see them again. I always tell my clients that they're going to hear from me. The only time they're going to hear from me is good or bad. Good being that we have an offer, bad means we have to reposition ourselves in the marketplace. Otherwise, you're going to be hearing from an inside sales agent or your listing coordinator. And it's all about staging and professional photography that goes on out there, so to make sure your photos are different. I mean, I still see photos in MLS in the middle of summer with snow in them. I mean, I'm like, what is going on with these folks? Or they're taking it out of their, I mean, how many has seen a photo of somebody snapped it out of their car? I mean, it's like, it's crazy that people don't spend the extra money to go through with this stuff. So those are a lot of services. And we hired an additional listing coordinator so that person is literally with them from the day they sign up and be a client of ours until the absolute end, to make sure that they're providing a different level of service than anybody else's. I mean, the number one thing that we hear back time and time again is communication. And so we want to make sure we're over communicating with them. We send out a survey monthly to every single one of our clients, even while they're listed actively, to find out how we're doing. I have some frustrated clients right now. Everybody does. I'd rather find out now what they're feeling than after the closing, knowing that they're not happy with the service we're providing. And we just had a client call, do a survey back, and we had to change one of our forms from it. So it allows you to continue to improve your own business.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So that's it. More money per transaction. I like that.
I mean, that's the bottom line.
So how many of you have as part of your core services, are providing staging, pre-inspection, home warranty, anything like that? Okay, that's huge. How many of you has it really helped you in positioning? Okay, how many of you are charging extra for it? How many of you will now? All right, good deal. That was worth it then. Good stuff, man. Awesome. Okay, there was something else too I was thinking and I wanted to ask. Okay, let's start with some lead generation strategies. Is that good? Does everybody want to see what's working to generate leads right now? Yeah. All right, let's hear it. Who had the top 3 lead generation strategies that you're using right now? Anybody? We'll start with Jeff. We'll work our way around.
One of the tools that we were introduced to, our websites, we're doing internet generation through our IDX site. We use a company called Boomtown, and we're generating probably between 200 and 250 leads right now, which is supporting my team just fine. It's more about, how do we convert those leads in the process that we're trying to keep the agents accountable to those leads. So it's not a matter of leads anymore. No fear there anymore. And that's on the buyer side. We're still lacking on the seller side. We are using Come List Me leads. I got a little upset at Jay. I sent him an email or text at 11 o'clock one night. I saw he was sending out something to kind of the masses for the fast home offer, right? Yeah. The certified leads there. Yeah. With Jeremy, and I go, how come I'm just finding out about these now? And I said, so I immediately got on the phone. We got the fast home offers, just took our first listing from that. Those are great leads in the fact that it's a repeatable source on the seller side. We've got the buyer side down repeatable. They just continually come in, and it's a matter of following up. And it's hard to get that on the seller side unless you got REO accounts or some kind of repeatable source. So these Come List Me leads and the fast home offer leads, certified home offer leads are those are really great. So ours are through the internet IDX, the Boomtown, the certified quick sale, and that's really our 2 big ones right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say Tiger Leads, Boomtown, Craigslist, and radio. So
what are you doing on Craigslist?
I've got different virtual assistants, different places all over the world doing Steve Cantor's company does some stuff for us. We've also got other virtual assistants all over the world doing some postings, and they actually manually change a lot of the different postings, post it for us, and link it back into Tiger, Boomtown, different stuff like that.
And what kind of cost per lead? Obviously, Craigslist is free, so I mean, just the cost of basically having.
Right. I mean, just
write that one down.
Just the cost. Just the cost of. You know, I'm telling you, man, we are in trouble in this country because a lot of people across the world want to work for almost nothing. So, yeah. So I'd say that's where main source right now.
Cantor, you haven't solicited me on that yet. Doggone it.
I think overall, Craigslist cost per lead should be $5 or less per lead.
Yeah, that works.
You can get any lower, but yeah.
Very good.
We're just doing kind of different things, obviously, web with branded, unbranded websites. We're generating about 500 leads a month on the buyer side through a bunch of different avenues. I've had to do some different things because I'm in a vacation destination, but a lot of it's just optimizing certain things you have too, from like Mike talked about yesterday, just changing the copy on your landing pages. I mean, there's so much things that you can do to increase what's pretty much there, to even the signers that you use, what you offer them. We even tested making, I was telling somebody last night, a separate sign that we get from like yardsignwholesale.com, and you can get like for like $3 or something, put them beside yours with the toll-free number, and it just make it look like it's a, you know, either it's a good deal, they can get a free list of homes and things like that. Just little things we can optimize to make sure things are done right with the systems and with certain flyers and things like that. Also, you know, with Tiger Leads and the seller side, you know, some just send out some certain mailers if it's a, you know, distress sale, something like that, as well as we just started doing some radio stuff recently, but you know, just all kind of different ways.
Yeah. Good stuff. We'll talk about celebrity here in a little bit because we got a few that have moved. The pattern that I see, you know, that I see kind of in real estate. It's kind of, you know, the same one that I kind of took. It was, you know, you grow, and then all of a sudden, boom, you hit kind of this like euphoric level of celebrity, and then there's, you know, it really gets interesting. So we're going to touch on that here in a second because there's some celebrities you guys are starting to become, and that's going to be, I think, helpful also for those of you who are wanting or in between that level of getting to celebrity. So.
Tiger Leads definitely is working really well. Radio is always working really well in the guaranteed sale. One program we just launched is called the Love It or Leave It program, and this basically says that if we construct you a home, meaning if we actually find you a home and you don't absolutely love it and you're a buyer of ours, then if you don't absolutely love your home for the next 12 months, we'll sell it for free for them. So it's getting a lot of people off the fence. We break this down in our radio show. I've heard Jay break his guaranteed sale down on the radio. We're doing Comment 5 and focus pages, so we're breaking it down there, giving people teasers to draw them back to our radio show, generating a lot of leads. And the other thing is that's really working well for us is we've implemented a 4-hour prospecting night on Wednesday nights for our entire team. That's mandatory, and it's you know, it's they go around what's going well in your room or what's going well in your day, get them in a positive state, role play for 15 minutes, making certain that they have appointments with every single A buyer that they have, because nobody should never not have an appointment with an A buyer if you have A buyers out there. So they do that the first half an hour, and then they prospect for 2 hours. And we talk about leads, but it's also getting the appointments. We're setting anywhere between 20 and 30 appointments every time we do prospecting night with buyers coming into the office for consultations.
Very cool.
What I use is a lot of Craigslist. I use it listings to leads, and then we upload it to Craigslist. We're not allowed to use the IDX on our website, so I use a system called RealBird, and it's $99 a year, and they basically have an IDX from Yahoo that we can upload to our system. Having a lot of success on the Arch. I use an 800 number on all of my advertising, Realtor.com, in front of the sign. Anything we do, we get that. And I don't have buyer's agents. What I do is I utilize the agents in the office that I know want to make money, but you know, they just don't know how to do it. So what I do is kind of bring them under, you know, my leadership or, you know, our group here, and I give them the business, and then what happens is they have to return the call within 4 hours, and if they don't, then, you know, then the person in the office will call the lead. If they don't return it, then it goes to the next person. So I'm sort of going back and forth, trying a lot of things, trying to get the leads. I don't have Boomtown or anything like that. That's something my goals for next year is to kind of implement some systems and get more leads. But basically, I've been focusing on a lot of listings, and now I'm trying to get back into doing maybe 60% listings and then 40% buyer leads, and trying to increase the volume in the things that I do.
Great. Good stuff.
We're pretty much doing the same everybody's doing. IDX leads, website leads, the 800 numbers, same lead sources. But the one thing that this year I really focused on, being I opened an office, I said, hey, I'm a business owner. I got to join the Chamber of Commerce. And I really focused on positioning myself as an expert in the community. I joined 3 chambers of commerce. And while I said they named me Small Business Person of the Year this year, it wasn't really anything to do with my real estate. It was my involvement in the community and helping people within the Chamber of Commerce connect and grow business. And that has really helped me tremendously. We send out our market trends report to all chamber members. On one side is market trends, on the other side is my listings, tied to our 800 number, so we can track who's calling in and follow up with them. But that has been huge. I bought a Clancy Real Estate bounce house. I loan out for charity events for businesses or whatever. That's really helped as well. But other than that, we're doing everything else everybody else is doing. But the chamber involvement has just been huge for me.
Yeah. Does your bounce house have your new USB on it?
It does not.
Okay. Just checking.
I would say for me, number one's been expireds this year. Not so much from just a transaction side standpoint, but the voice pad leads, the sign calls that we've converted, the ads that I can now post on Craigslist through our IDX site. So maybe close 20 or 25 sides directly from expireds, but the collateral, sides from that is probably 40 to 50. So that's number one. Boomtown is killing it for us. And then a big push. I probably had 20 sides last year from referrals, SOI repeat business kind of things. And next year that's going to be a big focus area. So that's probably number 3. But it's real simple. I mean, I'm not going to change anything I did this year to last year. It's just getting better at everything. And I think I know I can double my business just based on, those 4 or 5 things and not doing anything different, just optimizing,
Not trying to do too much, but
exactly.
just
nailing them.
One brick perfectly every day.
And it kills me not to chase a squirrel. So I hear the short sale stuff, and I want to blow it out with short sales. And I chose not to go down the REO path, and so because I do want to go after those things, but just keep it simple and get through this market and have a really solid, sustainable business on the other side, and so that's been the plan.
Huge position. I mean, that's where there's really a tremendous opportunity. We talk about it all the time. Is the window is open right now. The window is open. The business is changing. The industry is due for a change, and right now more than ever, adjusting and going hard will put you in a position to take over your marketplace and to really, really build a business that you can thrive. And that's what, you can see it. It's just you got to go 100 miles an hour and make it happen. You just got to do it. You got to be committed to it. But that's what, to me, I see it happening. It's picking up huge market share. There's a lot of huge gains happening in some markets because people are pulling back. They're scared now. They're timid. They're not knowing what to do. The stuff they were doing wasn't working, and they're not innovating, and they're not adapting and changing. So this is a great opportunity to really push forward with the systems again in that right order. Has been the key for, it seems like everybody up here is doing everything in the right way in the right order. So Lois, talk a little bit more about the Chamber of Commerce, because I think this is a freaking awesome way. It's one of the main things that, it's ironic that it actually worked. I didn't know it was going to work as well as it does, but the Chamber of Commerce deal, that is something that we did in my business and became the Chamber, whatever, Small Businessman of the Year or whatever. I think it was Young Entrepreneur was the one. There were several awards, right? But the more you get involved in your chamber, the more you become a celebrity, like overnight. So, being in business, what, 3rd year? Is that right?
Yeah, 3rd year. My office has been open, 10 months now.
So I've been in the business 3 years, literally. You come in out of nowhere, all of a sudden you're getting, business, type awards from the Chamber of Commerce, which is, by the way, the best list you could ever possibly influence, right? These are the influencers in your community. They're the business owners, they're the business leaders, they're the people of influence that can push business your way. And you certainly, when you start getting some endorsements from folks like that, state representatives, things of that nature, the sky's the limit at that point. So what would you say would be the best way to go back and execute a plan to take advantage of the opportunity?
Well, I think one, you obviously have to join the chamber, but you have to show up at events. I mean, a lot of events are 7 in the morning breakfast, and there are days I don't want to go. I'm leaving my kids with my wife to get them on the bus, but I go, and you got to show up, and I show up all the time. And it's important, and I'll tell you, 9 times out of 10, I'm the only realtor in the room of 150 people, and it's the best feeling in the world, especially when a real estate question comes up. I think you need to think like a business owner. If you're an independent agent, whatever you are, you need to have that mindset that you run a business, no matter if you're on a team or whatever. And that's really changed it. But the chamber is incredibly supportive. I mean, there are mentors in there. You can be a mentor to someone. Just great programs.
Good stuff. Good stuff. How have you leveraged that in your business? I mean, is there any direct benefit you could probably?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you, we have a new superintendent in my school district. The head of the chamber sent her right down to my office, half mile away, direct referral. So, I mean, you can't get better than that,
That's a horrible person to sell a house to. That's awesome. That brings it, I got to throw this idea out here for a squirrel for somebody. You know what I would love to do? I wrote this down like 5 years ago and I forgot. Apparently, I don't know where I wrote it down. I want to go to the school and I want to put a scholarship, an entrepreneurial scholarship to all of the schools for like $1,000 for each of the schools. And have that as something to give away to, as just as, for, going to college or whatever. I think that'd be a great idea. So, squirrel. We're going to do that this year. Run that one down. All right, what are we down to? Probably about 15 minutes? Okay. Any questions I haven't asked that you would ask if you were me? Hoffman?
Show of hands, can you tell us if you're doing equity sales or distress sales?
Ooh.
Let us know.
Break down percentage of maybe REO, short sale, traditional sale?
Be curious.
Okay.
This year, 125, 130 sides. On the sell side, maybe 5 distress sales. And then, we're selling short sales and REOs to our buyers, but, it's not a big part of our business.
What part of the percentage of your market, what would you say it is? Is it
probably 20%, 15, 20%.
Okay. Good contrast.
Yeah, out of 100, we'll do probably 12 to 15 will be distressed or short sales, foreclosure short sales, and we've had good luck with them. They've been good to us, but not really a market we focus on too much.
And in your market, percentage of it, you think of the market that would be considered short sale REO?
Probably pretty close to that, 15%. We're probably right on.
All right.
About 64 sales, and they're all resales. I don't do short sale or REOs. There's really not a lot in the Pittsburgh area.
Okay.
I mean, we tried to research it, and there's just not a lot. And the people that do it, I see what they go through, so I'm more successful on the resales.
Maybe 3% of our sales are distress sales, and I think we maybe closed 6 or 7 short sales all year. And I know Curtis is probably closed one distress sale in Arizona. I don't know, something like that.
The armpit of the USA.
Yeah, we're doing very little distress sale, doing a few short sales just by default now, and I think the Denver market's probably 20% or so short sale distressed property, I guess, and probably increasing. We're seeing it increase, and we think that trend's going to continue. And so, we're madly trying to figure out the systems on how to go out and go after those short sales. We really want to double our listings, and we think that's a good opportunity to do that. Is really get involved with chasing those not squirrels but short sales, right?
Yeah. Just sometimes they dress up like squirrels. Yeah.
Get ready, it's coming, right? Obama, the housing fair, ain't gonna fix it. Ours is about 80%. It's about 80% distress. He's not fixing it.
Tell us how.
No, I mean, there's nothing they can do. It's too late. I mean, so everybody that's like, well, they're coming in a market, get ready, because you can ignore it or chase the bowling ball down the hill, because it's coming to your market, whether you want it to or not. So either be prepared and have a plan, or go out of business.
Pretty bluntly put.
We're probably about 50% maybe around there. Out of those, probably 150, 120 REO, 40 maybe. 45, 50 short sales, and then we have a really strong buyer side. But as I was growing the business, things like that, I kind of let my traditional listing side just slack a little bit, because I was putting the systems in place for everything else to grow the entire business as a whole, and it allowed me to leverage my time. Because the good thing about REO side is you're able to systemize a lot of it, where it just runs like clockwork. You're just kind of managing things on that side. So it allowed me to do that. But the one thing that I made sure that I did well, I had a lot of friends that just jumped 110% in REO or this or that. And with things going on like right now with a moratorium or this or that, they're freaking out. So I was very, very disciplined to make sure I stayed balanced and make sure that I had other parts to that. We do short sales. I haven't really even applied as much as we should. We got a loss mitigation company I set up a while ago. Had a lot of success with that, but we're still fairly balanced. Have a really, really strong buyer side, and I kind of worked that in the beginning a long, long time ago, and perfected those systems and had it where it's systemized really well. So I mean, we're still balanced. I mean, it's going to be more, but there's just a lot of opportunity on every side. So, but like Curtis said, it's definitely coming. We've seen a big increase in that, and I think it's about, when it was before, like 30% of our market. Now it's up to about 40-45% of market from the numbers I've seen as a whole.
Okay, good stuff.
Hey, Jay.
Yep.
I got a question for Curtis.
Okay.
Your average commission is somewhere over 5%, is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, last year, it was almost 6%. And now I think it's closer to 5%. It's gone down a little bit this year.
Right. How do you, if 80% of your sales are short sales, which my experience with them is the banks, are just betting over commission.
Right. They're dictating your future.
How would you get that? How would you get that high? Unless you're charging.
So just for the purpose of audio, let me restate the question. Then.
I think the question was the banks, essentially, when there's distress sales, they're the ones that are dictating to us how much we make, and that we have to get into their funnel of being a commodity. And we just have to really make that decision because, guys, everybody in the industry, everybody outside our industry wants us to be commodities. NAR wants us to be a commodity. They want us to all be the lowest common denominator. Everybody wants us to be a commodity. So you either have to be indispensable or you have to be a commodity. Commodities do not get paid very well. And you just really got to make a decision. There are certain strategies you've got to know. It's like if I gave you a lock, it's all about the sequence and the strategy with it. If I gave you a lock and gave you all day to try and open it, you probably couldn't do it. If I gave you the numbers, you could do it in a few minutes. If I gave you the numbers and the sequence, you could do it in a snap. It comes down to you got to know the number, the sequence, and then it's a piece of cake. If you guys want something for free? Yeah. I'm not giving anything for free. Nah, that's not gonna work. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You can charge you.
No, seriously. But
suckers.
Yeah. No, but seriously, a lot of people here. I shouldn't say a lot, but a few people here used part of the system, made a bunch of money with it, really quick. If you guys want to jump up to elite coaching, but you're like, I don't have the money or whatever, here's a strategy you might be able to do. But if you go, I set up an autoresponder last night about 1 o'clock in the morning for Jay. We were talking. He's like, hey, so I had a system where I went through and taught all this because so many people across the country kept asking, hey, how do you do this? How do you do this? And so I went through and taught how you do this. And I did it, and I kind of mothballed it, whatever. A bunch of people were making a lot of money, said, hey, how do you do this? Jay, we were just talking, and he said, hey, would you open that up? So I opened it up. I'm probably going to shut it down at midnight tonight, maybe even after dinner. But if you guys want, I set up an autoresponder. So everybody, usually at conferences, you're not supposed to have your phone out. So everybody got your phone with you? Lift it up. If everybody got your phone, lift it up. Okay, open up your email right now and type this in. K as in Kinder, R as in Reese, at curtisjohnson.com. So KR at curtisjohnson.com. C, thank you very much, Goldwasser. CURTISJOHNSON. So KR at curtisjohnson.com. Send an email, just make it blank or whatever, and you'll get, I did a couple free videos up there. You can take a look and you can kind of understand some of the system. If you want to take it deeper, you can do that as well, but it's too much to try and explain in a short period of time, but just trust me, if you don't do something, whether you come up with another strategy or not, you're going to go out of business because they want you to. They want to do it themselves, but there's ways that you can make more money you've ever made if you understand the ways to be able to do it. But you got to think different.
I'll say this too. Curtis has pioneered this. I mean, I have known nobody, but Adam's executed it. Nobody before Curtis I've ever seen that's actually executed this model and this upfront fee, and it totally blows my mind, to be quite honest with you. It's incredible.
So even like before you started using the system, how much were you getting before that? I mean, does it change since you went through the system?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's hands down. I mean, I was charging 7%, but I mean, the first day that I watched the first module, I increased a $544 transaction compliance fee and implemented that right away. And the 3 listings that I took that day, I added almost $2,000 when those close. So I mean, instantaneously, this will put money into your bottom line.
So first month, how much extra did you probably make?
First month was $19,760.
So if you're like, hey, I don't have, I don't have the grand that's due for a lead or under, a little bit less. I don't have that. There's strategies out there if you've really decided, hey, you know what, I'm going to do that. Well, the first time I ever talked to Jay, sorry, I need the mic real quick. Sorry. The first time I ever talked to Jay, I was on the 30 under 30. I covered, I think, what year is that? Like 2002 or something like that. He called me up.
But that was before they were checking IDs, weren't it?
Back away. I was under 30. He's killing me. So he calls me up, and because I remember, I'm like, Lawton, I don't even know where Lawton is. So he's like telling me, oh my gosh, I'm doing all this stuff, blah, 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 and I'm going to be on it next year. I'm like, yeah, cool, dude, whatever, right? We'll see. And so I met him actually right after that, and in person, and then the next year, guess what? He was on it. That was his mindset. He was just, pig-headed determination to be able to do it. And so when you decide you're going to do something, you decide, I'm going to survive this market, I'm going to be a winner, there's strategies. If you're going to say, you know what, I'm just going to wait it out, man, your competition is going to eat you alive.
Burn the boats, baby. Where's Hoss Pratt? Burn the boats.
We cannot fail. I kind of live by the motto, you cannot fail unless you quit. And it's really interesting to just hear in the marketplace, you hear whining and crying from everybody you talk to in the real estate business. And I'm kind of grinning that we're having our best year really in 22 years. And that's pretty exciting. And to really just see where it can go next year, I mean, I could see doubling easy next year. I mean, it's just pretty awesome. And just, I just want to give a kudos to Jay and Mike and the whole entire staff. I mean, this is one of the best coaching programs I've literally.
Thank you.
No, but seriously, I've trained and done the coaching with just a number of people over my years, and these guys hands down are the best out there, and I just want to thank you guys. I really appreciate it. And the greatest thing is they're humble. There's no. Mike gets a little crazy, but these guys are just humble. They just are here to serve and just want to help you. And I mean, just a real quick little story here. They teach leadership, and I think the business principles that I'm learning are just huge. And that's really all I want to do is go back and serve people. That's my goal in life. And when I heard Chad Goldwasser last year, it really impacted me when he was given his life story and what is life all about? What is our purpose? And my purpose, it just really resonated after hearing that. And I went home and said it's to impact other people's lives, to serve them with love and just not only my team but everybody that we come in contact with, and that just falls into the lifetime value of customers and everything. Jay's got a Boomerang Award. And talk about leadership principles and just one idea that you hear. I just wanted to share one real quick thing. I got here, I forgot my socks. This is a kind of a funny story. But I got up here, I had no socks, and I said, okay, I'm going to be sitting on a panel with no socks. And I got up to the staff, and I was kind of kidding with Kim and Andrew and Gina, and the next thing I know, they're running off to Target to buy me socks and wouldn't let me pay for them. So I just thought that was the greatest story of leadership. When you become a leader, you are creating leaders. These guys have created leaders in this organization. And I mean, that was just, the awards were great. It's kind of fun to take home a glass trophy, but those socks meant more to me than any trophy you guys could have gave me, because it just shares how, it just shows how much that, the Kinder Reese group, cares about you. So, I'm taking home, I'm going to actually frame one of the pair of the socks as a reminder, and the glass trophy can go in the box. But it just, thanks guys, I appreciate it.
And I would say give a round of applause for the staff for that. The thing is that was selflessly done. That's the first time I heard that story. I didn't even know that happened. That's just the way everyone at Kinder Reese is, and I have to applaud them, because that's just that's what this is all about. I don't know, for those of you who don't really know me or Mike very well, we've been seminar going and conference going for a long time, but man, can you feel a different energy in this room? then when you go back home and you're in your office and the way people think and the way people do things and the doomsday this and the negative stuff that's on TV. And this is the group that you want to be around. You know what I mean? Like all day, every day, this is where I would be. And this, I just really appreciate everybody, making that commitment and being here and being of that mindset and making it worthwhile, because it's nothing without everybody that's here. So I appreciate everybody here. So one last question and we're out of here. And it's dinner time, right?
Yes.
And then we're coming back. We're going to do some role playing.
7:30.
At 7:30. So we're going to do a little. I'll let you tell it. It's going to be freaking amazing. It's going to be fun. Let me ask you. I got one last question for everybody. We'll just kind of go down the line. Today, I'm going to write you a check for your business. And here's the deal. You're going to sell me your business. You can't get back into real estate, but you also have to give up all the experiences you've had the past few years, all of the things that you've been able to accomplish, all of those memories, all the relationships, the things of that nature. What would you sell your business for if I was writing a check to you today?
$10 million.
$10 million?
It's funny you ask that, Jay. As I've grown, I've had 2 offers in the past year to sell out, and I wouldn't sell my business. I love it.
Not for sale?
It's not for sale.
I'll sell.
$10 million? Everything has a price, baby.
I guess the way I feel right now, no way I'd sell my business, because I'm learning so much and listening to these guys up here. I just can't go back. I can't wait to go back and implement what they're doing and calling them. I mean, this is amazing. I mean, I've been in the business 17 years, and I wish I could go back 10 years and learn everything. I mean, you guys have been so good in teaching everyone. I mean, if you're not part of the coaching, get aboard, because I tell you, it's amazing. But I would not sell my business. I was going to retire, and I'm thinking, no way at all.
I'd certainly sell my business for $10 million. I mean, that's for certain. But I think ultimately what it comes down to is you put your heart and soul into this, and everyone out here is investing in personal development, which I think is where everybody gets advancement in your career, and that's where you're doing the right things by being here and coaching with Jay and Mike. And by doing that, it's the reward that you get from seeing yourself build a business is much more rewarding than grabbing a check at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
You got your checkbook?
I don't know what your number is yet.
I don't know if I have a number. If I could go, it is just the greatest thing to try to, to build a business, and I really enjoy it. And I'm not sure what pushes me to keep doing this, but it's that internal coach that is screaming at me to keep crawling across the football field, and it's just something ingrained in me. So if it wasn't real estate, I'd be doing something like that, putting all of my energy into it. Yeah.
Okay, good stuff.
I don't know, surprisingly, that when you said that, I thought, man, that's a hard question. I started thinking about it. I'm like, I don't know. It'd be easy to say I wouldn't sell it, but I'd probably just write a clause in there. If Jay's buying my business, I'm going to stay on and work in it, and then I'd be in business with you, and then it'd be all worth it, right? So maybe $1. $1 if I got to work with you, right?
Deal.
Yeah, I don't know. Everything has a price, so I think I might have to take I don't know, maybe that $10 million in some equity share or something. But I'll say that the one thing about it though is even with that, through the struggles and through the things that I've gone through and had to, and especially been taught through Jay and Mike and Wally and things to be able to develop myself. I feel like I could run almost any business now, no matter what it is, just based on those same principles, same things. And that's something I really had to dig down deep to learn and make myself, be able to take in and learn through the hard knocks sometimes, get right back up and get it systemized and get it done the right way. But I think the fun part for me is building the actual business, and I'd probably take the $10 million and build something else.
Yeah. That's nice. I like that. All right, well, let's give everybody a round of applause.
Absolutely.